Everybody. So, after a long time, we are going to discuss or resume our classes on polarization. We have discussed what is polarization, what are different types of polarizations, how to produce polarized light by reflection, refraction, uh, by double refraction, by selective absorption, and we have studied the birefringence. We have studied uh, like what is Nicol prism. We have studied what is calcite crystal and what is happening in the case of negative and positive crystals. What are ordinary rays, extraordinary rays? What are uniaxial crystal, biaxial crystal, etc. So when a light ray passes through a bifringent material, it gets split into two, and one is called ordinary ray and the other one is called extraordinary ray. Ordinary ray obeys all the laws of reflection or refraction. Extraordinary ray won't obey the laws of refraction. Okay, so next topic we are going to discuss is wave plates. Wave plates is also known as retardation plates or phase shifters. From the name itself it is clear, phase shifters, that is, that changes or shifts the phase. And these wave plates are made of bifringent material. That means they are made of crystals that are doubly refracting, or wave plates are made of doubly refracting crystals. From that statement itself, it is clear that when a plane polarized light falls on a wave plate, it gets split into two, and the first ray is known as ordinary ray as usual. The other ray is extraordinary ray. And inside this crystal or inside this wave plate, the wave plate is made up of a crystal, and this crystal is birefringent material or doubly refracting material. As this split into two rays, it is well understood that the velocity of these two rays will be different through this material. And this difference in velocity gives rise to phase difference between the two beams when it come out of the birefringent material or when it come out of the crystal. So based on the phase difference or based on the path difference which is induced between the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray on passing through the wave plate, the wave plates are categorized into two types. The first one is called the half wave plate and the second one is called the quarter wave plate. Okay. So how are you going to define a wave plate? Wave plate is an optical device that can change the state of polarization of an incident wave. That is, wave plate is used, it is an optical device used to change the state of polarization of an incident wave. It is made up of a doubly refracting crystal which is very thin. Okay, so it is an optical device used to change the state of polarization of an incident wave, and it is made up of a, and this plate is very thin and it is made up of a doubly refracting crystal. So we have discussed that it is categorized into two. First we will discuss half wave plate. So consider a plane polarized light entering a crystal of thickness T. And this crystal is a birefringent or doubly refracting material. So as soon as the plane polarized enter the crystal or enter the birefringent material, it gets split into ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. So normally the optical path of a ray is the product of its refractive index and the distance it travels. And here T is the thickness of the wave plate. So normally the optical path for the extraordinary ray will be what? Refractive index of extraordinary ray into thickness of the crystal. That is mu E into T. Similarly, the optical path for ordinary ray in the same manner is the product of refractive index of the ordinary ray and the thickness of the crystal. So the optical path difference introduced. It is well understood. It is a difference between the optical path. So it is mu E into T minus mu O into T. So T is common. Taking it outside, you will get mu E into mu O minus T. And this is the optical path difference. So normally, if lambda is the path difference introduced, the corresponding phase difference is 2 pi. So for unit path difference, the phase difference is 2 pi by lambda. For a path difference of mu e into mu o into t, mu e minus mu o into t, the phase difference will be 2 pi by lambda into mu e minus mu o into t, a basic mathematics. So the phase difference between the two rays will be 2 pi by lambda into mu e minus mu o into t. This is a very common or a very natural statement or natural equation. Now here comes the half-wave plate, and when a plane polarized light is incidenting on the wave plate such that the thickness is adjusted such that the optical path difference introduced between the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray when it come out of the wave plate is lambda by 2, then such a wave plate is known as half. That is half wave plate. That is path difference is half of the wavelength. That is why it is named as half wave plate. That is, or if lambda by 2 is the path difference, the corresponding phase difference will be what? Pi. Lambda is path difference means 2 pi will be the phase difference. If lambda by 2 is the path difference means 2 pi by 2. That is pi will be the phase difference. So you can write the equation as the optical path difference mu e minus mu o into t is equal to lambda by 2 in the case of a half wave plate. From this you can get the expression for the thickness of the crystal, that is lambda by 2 into mu e minus mu o. So in the same equation can be represented in terms of phase difference. Instead of lambda I can put 2 pi. So it will be 2 pi by 2 into mu e minus mu o. So I get 2, both the 2's cancel here. So our equation will be instead of here there will be a 2, here also there will be a 2, and both that get cancelled. Equation for the thickness of the wave plate in terms of phase difference will be pi by mu e minus mu o, and in terms of path difference it will be lambda by 2 into mu e minus mu o. So this is about half wave plate. So just give me an answer. What will be a quarter wave plate? What will be? Yes, what you are telling is right. Instead of lambda by 2, the path difference introduced will be lambda by 4. Simple. Or the phase difference introduced will be what? Phase difference correspondingly introduced will be 2 pi by 4. That will be equal to what? Pi by 2. Okay. So that itself is what you have thought about or what you have told is correct. We'll move to quarter wave plate. If the thickness of the crystal or birefringent material is adjusted such that the optical path difference is lambda by 4, that is the path difference between the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray which is coming out of the birefringent material is lambda by 4, then such a wave plate through which the waves travel is known as quarter wave plate. Simple. So I can write the expression for the path difference introduced, that is mu e minus mu o into 2 will be lambda by 4. From that I'll get the expression for thickness. Here it is small letter. Okay, t will be lambda by 4 into mu e minus mu o. From that, in terms of phase difference, I can write instead of lambda path difference, I can write it as 2 pi. 2 pi by 4 means it will be pi by 2. So the corresponding phase difference will be t is equal to pi by 2 into mu e minus mu o. So for a quarter wave plate, what happens? For a half wave plate, this is very important. Problems will be generally asked from this section. Thickness in terms of wavelength will be t is equal to lambda by 2 into mu e minus mu o. And instead of lambda, if I am putting 2 pi, 2 and 2 get cancelled. Phase difference, in terms of phase difference, it will be pi by mu e minus mu o. In a similar way, here I get the expression for the thickness as lambda by 4 into mu e minus mu o if it is quarter wave plate, and corresponding thickness will be pi by 2 into mu e minus mu o. Hope it is clear for you. That is the difference between quarter wave plate and half wave plate. So next we'll discuss the production of circularly and elliptically polarized light theoretically. So how circularly and elliptically polarized light will be produced in a theoretical way, and we also will discuss how we are going to produce it and detect it experimentally also. So as a in the beginning you can say, as of in the beginning, when a plane polarized light is incidenting on a wave plate at an angle with the optic axis. You know that every crystal will be having an optic axis. That is what we have discussed in our last classes. Optic axis, and along the optic axis what happens? The ordinary ray and extraordinary ray will be having the same velocity, and uniaxial crystal means they will be having one optic axis, biaxial means more than one optic axis. So what happens is, when a plane polarized light is incidenting on a wave plate at an angle with the optic axis, as usual it gets split into two, ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. So depending upon the thickness of the crystal, when this E ray and O ray emerges out of the wave plate, there will be a path difference between them. And when they are coming out, what happens? They cannot stay as two waves. Soon, when they come out of the crystal or when they come out of the wave plate, they have to superpose, because they cannot stay as ordinary or extraordinary. They superpose. And what happens? We get either circularly polarized light or elliptically polarized light, depending upon the thickness of the wave plate as well as the angle of incidence of the plane polarized light. Thickness induces says what? Thickness says what will be the phase difference or path difference introduced between the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. And the angle of incidence gives the amplitude. If the amplitude is same, means you will get circularly polarized light. The amplitude is different. Superposing waves is having different amplitude, means it will be elliptically polarized light. Okay. So we'll go to the theory in detail. Suppose E0 be the amplitude of the electric field of the plane polarized light which is hitting on the wave plate, such that this electric field vector E0 hits the wave plate at an angle phi with the z-axis. Suppose z-axis is the optic axis. What happens? So E0 is the amplitude of the plane polarized light, amplitude of the electric field vector of the plane polarized light. It makes an angle phi with the z-axis. Z-axis is the optic axis of the wave plate. So normally what happens? It gets split into two, E0 cos phi along z-axis and E0 sin phi along y-axis. So the z component is having the amplitude E0 cos phi. That is, the angle of incidence is phi, and this angle that the initial electric field vector makes with the optic axis is the angle phi, and this quantity determines the amplitude of the wave. And the z component, whose amplitude is E0 cos phi, passes as an extraordinary ray with velocity. We know velocity will be different, c by mu e. And the y component is having an amplitude E0 sin phi. It is shown here, y component E0 sin phi. So the first one is extraordinary, means the second one will be ordinary ray propagating with velocity c by mu 0. And it is understood that mu e not equal to mu o. So what happens? They travel with different velocity. That is, ordinary and extraordinary ray travel with different velocity. So when they are coming out of the crystal or the wave plate, there will be a phase difference between them. Okay. So we'll go to the theory a little more deeper. So we are not going to the complete theory. It is a bit complicated. So we are going superficially through the theory, which will be more easy for you to understand. We are not going through the deep mathematics or deep physics. And it is actually a simplified form of derivation. Okay, it is not going through the deep mathematical part. Okay, we are making so much assumptions to make the mathematical part less complicated. Okay, so here it goes. Let the plane the plane polarized light is incidenting on the wave plate such that it is having a thickness d. So at the beginning part, what will be the thickness? Thickness x will be 0. If x is equal to 0, represents the surface of the crystal on which the plane polarized beam is hitting. The y and z components of the incident beam can be written as, normally a wave is represented as like this way, E is equal to E0 cos kx minus omega t. And kx minus omega t represents the phase part, and E0 represents the amplitude part, and sine represents it is a wave. It is having a sinusoidal wave nature. And here Ey component, which is the y component, which is actually the ordinary component, and z component or z component is the extraordinary ray. And I can hear what happens. It is having different amplitude. The amplitude along the y direction is E0 sine phi, and the wave is cos kx minus omega t. And the amplitude along z direction or z direction is E0 cos phi, and the wave as usual is cos kx minus omega t. So I can represent the electric field vector or waves along the y direction and z direction, and along y direction it represents the ordinary ray, and along z direction it represents the extraordinary ray. So it gives the equation for the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray when it is normally passing through the crystal. And so at the surface what happens? X becomes 0. So when x becomes 0, what happens? Cos of 0 minus omega t will be there. Cos of minus theta is cos theta itself. So I can write it as Ey is equal to E0 sin phi cos omega t. Ez is equal to E0 cos phi cos omega t. And inside the crystals, two components will be what? E0, Ey is equal to E0 sin phi cos k. Instead of k, I'll write k1 since they are having different velocity or different wavelength within the crystal. And for the z component, I'll write the wave vector as k2. So it gives you the expression for ordinary ray and extraordinary ray. And k1 and k2 are the wave vectors for ordinary ray and extraordinary ray respectively. And k is the wave vector. It is represented by 2 pi by lambda. So k1 means it is 2 pi by lambda 1. Lambda 1 is the wavelength of the ordinary ray inside the crystal. But we are having one more equation for lambda 1 in terms of lambda. It is written as lambda 1 is equal to lambda by mu o. So on substituting this lambda 1 in the first equation for k1, I'll get 2 pi by lambda by mu o, or I'll get mu o into 2 pi by lambda, and 2 pi by lambda is k. So I'll get refractive index of ordinary ray into wave vector k. Similarly, I can write k2 is equal to mu e into k. And substituting these two results in this equation, what I'll get? Instead of k1, I can write mu o into k, and instead of k2, I can write mu e into k. So our equation becomes like this way. Name it as equations 3 and 4. And next is, first I have made the waves traveling along its direction. Now the thickness of the crystal is d. Then at the emerging surface, what happens? X becomes d. So instead of x, I'll write d. So Ey is equal to E0 sin phi cos mu o kd minus omega t for ordinary ray, and Ez is equal to EO cos phi cos mu e kd minus omega t for extraordinary ray. So for next, we are going to simplify it to make the mathematics simple. Instead of mu o kd, which is which makes it so lengthy, I'll make it as, it is actually the phase term. So I'll make a substitution theta o, and mu e kd is theta e, and I'll make a substitution theta o minus theta e is basically theta. So I'll get the equation like this way. Instead of mu o kd, theta o, and mu e kd, theta e. Name these equations as equations number 5 and 6. Hope you are writing the notes along with this. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you. Just try to keep, for every subject, try to keep a notebook. Right, while viewing the classes, right, copy down all the notes. So it will be easier for you for the further reference. Otherwise, it will be very difficult searching for these videos again and again while you're appearing for the exams and all. Okay. So we made a substitution. Mu o kd is theta o, and mu e kd is theta e, and theta o minus theta e is again theta. We have Ey and Ez. So next we are making a small shift in the time. Time is shifted from t equal to t plus theta e by omega. So instead of t, I'll write t omega into, I'll put a bracket here, t plus theta e by omega. So you just write it down in your notes. Omega is common. Omega t minus omega into theta e by omega. So what happens? Omega and omega get cancelled. You will have theta O minus theta E, which is theta. So the equation for ordinary ray becomes EO sine phi cos theta minus omega t. For extraordinary ray, what happens? It is theta E here, and again I am changing, shifting the time from t plus theta E by omega, means omega t minus omega theta E by omega. Omega and omega get cancelled. So theta E minus theta E means both get cancelled. And what will be left is minus omega t, and cos of minus omega t will be cos omega t. So you'll get it as Ez is equal to E0 cos phi cos omega t. So when they are coming just out of the crystal, the ordinary ray will have an expression E by this seventh equation, and extraordinary ray will be represented by the eighth equation. And what happens next? When they are just coming out of the plate, they superpose and produce elliptically or circularly polarized light depending upon the value of phi, which indicates the amplitude part, and theta, which indicates the phase. So we'll introduce or we'll discuss the cases. So when phi is equal to pi by 4, phi is what? Represents the amplitude and theta represents the phase. Theta is equal to pi by 2. What does it mean? The path difference is what? Phase difference is pi by 2 means path difference is lambda by 4. That is, the ordinary ray and extraordinary ray is having a path difference of lambda by 4 means it is a quarter wave plate. The waves have passed through the plane polarized light have passed through a quarter wave plate. So what happens? Our equation becomes Ey is equal to, substitute for phi and theta, sin pi by 4 cos pi by 2 minus omega t. And sin pi by 4 is what? Sin 45 degree. And it is 1 by root 2. So I'll get it as E0 by root 2 cos 90 minus theta is sin theta, that is sin omega t. And similarly, Ez is equal to E0 cos pi by 4 cos omega t. Pi by 4 is again what? Cos pi by 4, it is 1 by root 2. So I'll get E0 by root 2 cos omega t. Now what we are doing? We have got the equations 9 and 10. Now just square this equation, 9 square plus 10 square. It is Ey square plus Ez square. And this is common. E0 square by root 2 square is 2. E0 square by 2. And it is sin square omega t plus cos square omega t. That gives you what? So what you will have the expression as? Ey square plus Ez square is equal to E0 square by 2. What does it mean? X square plus y square is equal to, amplitude is constant, E0, a constant. This gives you the equation of circle. Yes, right. What you've told is right. This gives you the equation of circle, which indicates that we'll be getting a circularly polarized light. So when phi, which is the amplitude part, so phi is the thing that makes it circularly polarized light. That is, electric field vector along all direction is having the same amplitude, means it gives you the shape of a circle. And if it is passing through a quarter wave plate, or the phase difference is pi by 2 or path difference is lambda by 4, then what we'll get? We'll get a circularly polarized light outside. So the next is the case 2. So just to have the changed amplitude means phi not equal to 45 degree. And theta is equal to pi by 2, same as that of before, which is a quarter wave plate. And what happens? Our equations become, substituting all these values, sin phi means we have not specified the value of phi. We have told it not equal to 45 degree. So we'll have phi can have different values. So E0 sin phi, E0 cos phi. And it will be sin omega t, cos omega t as usual. So what is, we are going to make a substitution. Instead of E0 sin phi, it is, put it as A, which is give you amplitude A. And E0 cos phi gives another amplitude B, which is not same. And squaring and adding means what you'll get? Ey square by A square plus Ez square by B square. That will be sin square omega 2 plus cos square omega t. That will be 1. So x square by A square plus y square by B square is equal to 1 means, yes, it is an equation of ellipse with semi-major axis and minor axis A and B. So what happens? If the phase difference, or if phi is not equal to 45 degree, and the path difference is lambda by 4 or phase difference is pi by 2, means you will get a what? You will get elliptically polarized light which is coming out of the wave plate. And the next case is what? Theta is equal to pi. Theta is equal to pi means lambda, it will be what? Path difference will be lambda by 2, right? Lambda by 2. And if phi is equal to pi by 4 means both the waves will be having the same nature, or will be having the same equation, that is E0 by root 2 cos omega t, E0 by root 2 cos omega t. Both the equations will be same, which indicates that it is a plane polarized light. So what we have discussed so far, when a plane polarized light hit a wave plate, it produces either circularly, elliptically, or plane polarized light itself when it comes out of the crystal. To make it circularly polarized light, phi should be 45 degree and path difference or phase difference should be pi by 2 or lambda by 4. This produces a circularly polarized light. To produce elliptically polarized light means phi should not be 45 degree and theta should be pi by 2 or path difference should be lambda by 4. It gives you elliptically polarized light. And if theta is equal to pi and phi is equal to pi by 4 means you will get a plane polarized light again. So we have discussed the theory. Now we are discussing what happens practically. The same thing, I'll repeat it again, how you are going to produce circularly polarized light. So normally the light we are getting from the sun or a tube light is unpolarized. So to make it plane polarized light, you have to pass it through a polarizer such as a Polaroid, Nicol prism, tourmaline crystal, calcite crystal, etc. So an unpolarized light is passed through a polarizer. The emergent light will be plane polarized light. And we are discussing the production of circularly polarized light. So this plane polarized light is allowed to incident on a quarter wave plate at an angle 45 degree such that this quarter wave plate introduce a path difference of lambda by 4 or phase difference of pi by 2 to the ordinary and extraordinary ray coming out of this wave plate. So these waves coming out of this wave plate, when superposed, they produce circularly polarized light. This is the production of circularly polarized light. And in order to produce elliptically polarized light, first an unpolarized light from any of the sources is allowed to pass through a polarizer like Polaroid, Nicol prism, tourmaline, calcite, etc. The emergent light will be plane polarized light. And this plane polarized light is made to hit on a quarter wave plate at an angle not equal to 45 degree with the optic axis. A path difference of lambda by 4 will be introduced, but the amplitude of the wave will be different, and these two superpose to give an elliptically polarized light. So we have discussed a lot of lights in terms of polarization. Unpolarized light, partially polarized light, plane polarized light, elliptically polarized light, and circularly polarized light. In terms of polarized light or polarized light, we have discussed 5 types. So our eyes cannot detect any of these lights. So how you are going to detect between these types of light? Okay. So what you are doing first? A light of non-polarization is allowed to fall normally on a polarizer. And this polarizer is slowly rotated in a full circle. And the intensity of the light which is coming out of the polarizer is observed. If the intensity of the light is extinguished twice in a full rotation means the incident light is plane polarized light. A light is made to incident on a polarizer and a polarizer is rotated such that I have discussed this in the previous class. Okay, and the polarizer is rotated and we are observing the transmitted light such that what happens? If it is parallel, the light which is parallel to the optic axis, electric field vector of the polarized light is parallel to the optic axis means it allows all the components to pass through so as to get a maximum intensity. and we are rotating slightly the polarizer through 90 degree means what happens? Optic axis will be perpendicular to the electric field vector. No light will be passed. Again we are rotating 90 degree means total angle will be 180 degree. 180 degree means anti-parallel. So again it passes maximum intensity. Again we are rotating means it will be 270 degree in a crossed position. No intensity. So this is what's happening there. So if we get maximum intensity twice and light get extinguished twice, that means the incident light is plane polarized. This is the first case, and if the intensity of the transmitted light varies between a maximum and a minimum means what? And it becomes never extinguished means it will be either partially polarized or elliptically polarized. And if the intensity of the transmitted light never varies means it is circularly polarized or unpolarized. If we get maximum intensity twice or extinguishes twice means it is plane polarized. That part is clear. And if the intensity varies between a maximum and minimum means there are two choices. It can be partially polarized or elliptically polarized. So how to identify between partially and elliptically polarized light? For this, what we are doing? Light is first made to incident on a quarter wave plate. So what happens? When it is hitting a quarter wave plate means, and then it is allowed to pass through a polarizer. If the incident light is elliptically polarized light means if it is hitting a quarter wave plate, it gets split into, it becomes plane polarized light. And this plane polarized light is allowed to pass through a when a plane polarized light hit a wave plate, quarter wave plate, it can produce elliptically polarized light upon such condition. And if this elliptically polarized light is again passed through a quarter wave plate, it produces a plane polarized light, and usual procedure. So when this plane polarized light is passed through a polarizer, what happens? And polarizer is rotated means you will get a maximum twice and zero intensity twice. This indicates that the first light which I have taken is what? Elliptically polarized light. And when this polarized, it would be okay. On the other hand, if the transmission intensity varies between a maximum and minimum means it is partially polarized light. Partially polarized light doesn't produce any change on passing through a quarter wave plate. So the next is, so we have found out a way to distinguish between partially polarized light and elliptically polarized light. Next we have to find out a way to identify between circularly polarized light and unpolarized light. For this also we follow the same procedure. The circularly polarized light is allowed to pass through a quarter wave plate means it produces plane polarized light. And when this plane polarized light is passed through a polarizer which is rotated, what happens? Maximum intensity twice extinguishes twice means the initial light was circularly polarized. If it was unpolarized light, what happens? The intensity remains unchanged. That means you can identify it as unpolarized light when it is passed through a polarizer. And if intensity varies between maximum and zero means it is circularly polarized light that we have taken in the picture. So hope you have understood. We have discussed what is a wave plate, quarter wave plate, half wave plate. Normally questions or problems asked from this session to find the thickness of a quarter wave plate or half wave plate. Then we discussed the theory of production of elliptically and circularly polarized light using quarter wave plate. And now we discuss the detection of plane polarized, circularly polarized, elliptically polarized, unpolarized and partially polarized light using the help of wave plates and polarizers. Since what? Eyes or human eyes cannot identify between the state of polarization. Okay, and in this picture it is shown a linearly polarized light and passes through a wave plate which is a half wave plate. What happens? It becomes linearly polarized light with plane of polarization rotate. Okay, plane of polarization is slightly tilted. And what happens when it is passed through a wave plate? It is a quarter wave plate. It can produce elliptically polarized light or circularly polarized light depending upon the angle phi which it makes with the optic axis. So hope you have understood. Okay, so go through you write down the notes and go through all what is taken today. And if you're having any doubts, you can come to me personally and ask all your queries. I'll send you the follow-up work of this class and the next class together. Okay, so go through the portions, study well. So see you in the next class. Okay.